Okay, so we're live. It's Saturday night, June 24th, or was 24th. I think it's 25th technically now because it's past midnight. But here I am. I made it. Told myself I was going to record one YouTube video a day or post one video a day. And the day was almost over and I hadn't posted. I could have posted two on Sunday, but I still wanted to try to post something tonight. So I'm doing a live stream. And I got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world right now. There's a few different things. And apparently I have to be, first off, I guess I have to be a little careful this time because last week I went live with the Gear Brothers. Great conversation. I think we almost hit like 2 hours. But my video was flagged as not being suitable for most viewers. So that was kind of interesting to me. It said, this is the, I wrote it down here. I copy and pasted this. It says, for monetization, limited. This video may earn limited or no ad revenue due to content identified as not suitable for most advertisers. It remains fully playable and is eligible to earn subscription revenue from YouTube Premium. So it's kind of interesting because I was like trying to think. I was like, I don't think we talked about like horror movies. We talked about music. I think that was most of what we talked about. So it's kind of interesting. I have to go back and I kind of want to rewatch that, even though it's like 2 hours, just to see what it is that got flagged. I mean, I guess there was a few swear words. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Anyways, let's see. Definitely something to keep an eye on besides random stuff like this. Otherwise, I love YouTube and I really don't want to have to go on Rumble. But if I have to watch what I say, I don't know what I said that was so bad. Definitely not trying to talk a lot of shit. I'm still trying to be more kind and nice to people, and really been trying to focus on that as much as I can since I made that video about it, which brings me to my next point. So I made this video on kindness and making the world better, and it didn't do well. It barely cracked 50 views. I think 8 people liked it, but it was interesting because it says it has an 80% like rating. So that means that with 8 likes, if I do the math right, I think that means 2 people actually thumbs downed it. They disliked it. And it's kind of shocking to me, but I guess maybe kind of not. It's just interesting. Like, who is going to dislike the idea of being nicer and kinder to people? Like, I'm just curious. I don't think there was any comments about it, like why they felt that way or what they didn't like about the video. Maybe they didn't like the production or some other aspect. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't the content, but maybe they just hate me. I don't know. It's really interesting because most of my videos do pretty well and the likes come. Like most people, they wouldn't watch the video if they didn't like the content or me or whatever. So it's just interesting that's that 2 people disliked that one. I mean, I get if there's a guest, if I have Ted Nugent on or something and you don't like Ted Nugent, I totally understand that. Or just maybe you don't even like, it's a musician that's not political or whatever, maybe you just don't like his music, then you thumbs down the video. Okay, fine. But when it's just me talking about trying to be nice to people and you thumbs down it, it's kind of interesting. Just seems like there's a lot of hate and anger in the world. And, but maybe it's just social media and the news. Cause now that I think of it, I don't really see that much in real life, but it has been a very strange week. So a couple of big news stories I wanted to get to. But first for me personally, this is another thing that happened. Just a very weird week for me this week. I got trolled on Facebook on a comment I made. And my comment was actually like, it was like a nice positive thing. I was saying something nice about somebody, which I don't usually comment on like celebrities or people that I follow's page. Usually would just comment on friends because I know they're going to read it. Usually when you comment on like a blue tick person, like they're not going to respond. So it's like, why are you even doing that? But for some reason, they said something. I wanted to point out something else that they missed about this person. So I just commented that and someone disagreed with what I said, which is fine, but I barely know this person. And he just kept arguing with me. And a lot of it, when I look back, I reread it a couple of times. I was like, it just seemed like semantics and like he was just looking for a reason to argue. So I'm wondering like, if you guys ever experienced people like this in your life, like they'll just take something you say and twist it or try to find some sort of flaw in your statement. Like it's just a very bizarre experience. Like you can look outside and it's a bright sunny day and you say, oh, wow, what a beautiful day outside. And then they say, oh, so you hate rainy days. What is it? So is a blue sky superior to a gray sky? What? Because a color is brighter, that makes it more beautiful. So I guess we should never have nighttime then because you think it's so ugly. And it's like, I mean, I was just saying it's a beautiful day. Like, how do you get an argument out of that? It's so strange. And I can't imagine like being in a relationship with someone like that. It sounds like a complete nightmare. But I digress. So after trying to reason with the guy and respond to some of his comments, and I was just, okay, let me try to like, I'm not trying to argue, but I'll try to explain my point and what I was saying. And, I see what you're saying and trying to just kind of like have a normal conversation. I finally just gave up. He started saying some really bizarre things. And I finally said, I'm going to send you a DM because I think something's wrong here. So I messaged him and I just asked him if he was okay. And again, it goes back to this video I made about being kind, and I'm trying to be more kind because one of my favorite quotes from Gandhi is, be the change you want to see in the world. So I'm trying to be more kind to people. And I don't really care about some dumb argument on social media, but something told me that maybe this guy's like not having a very good day and that's why he picked a fight. And so I decided to reach out and ask him if he was okay. And genuinely being concerned, like, hey, are you okay? Like, maybe there's something bad happening and maybe he just needed someone to like say, hey, like, is everything okay? Maybe nobody in his life was doing that. I mean, if he argues with a lot of people like that, he probably doesn't have a lot of people that are asking him like how his day is going and is everything okay? And, that are looking out for him. Cause people like that, I mean, for me, at least, I always tend to stay away from people like that. So, but then he told me that he was just, I was just having fun. And you took that personal, that's on you. So I think I was hoping for a better ending to that story. I was hoping it was something like, you know what? I did have a really bad day and, I'm sorry I took it out on you. So I was hoping for something like that, but that's not what happened. So I think the lesson learned there is probably something I already knew, and that's don't argue on social media or even on the comments on YouTube, block trolls. And I think that's actually the most kind thing to do to these people, because if no one engaged, I think eventually they'd have to find a different approach to dealing with people. And if you engage positively or negatively, you're giving them a response. And I think that's really all they want. So if you're like super nice to them or you're mean to them, they just want a response. And I think if they tried to start a bunch of fights and everyone just stopped responding to them, I think eventually they'd have to change their approach or they'd just be yelling down an empty hallway. Right. So I don't know. I think that's just the approach, at least for me, that I'm going to take. It makes the most sense. It was just weird because I felt like I was being tested or something like, okay, Chuck, like, yeah, you said you're going to be kind to people. Now here's a guy acting like a total prick. So how are you going to handle it? And, maybe it wasn't the best way because I did engage for a bit and I argued and then I messaged him and I think I failed that test, but again, it was a great learning experience. And I think that, one thing that I've learned with like personal development and stuff is that if somebody pisses you off or they, quote unquote, trigger you, like that's where you need to do some work and figure out why they're pissing you off. And I think for me, it's just like with all the work that I've been doing, and I've actually like been really happy more recently, like probably happier now at age 45 than I ever been in my whole life, which is great. But I think I just don't have a lot of tolerance for people being jerks to me. Whereas before I would just like kind of like try to make excuses for them. Like, oh, like I did with this guy. I was like, oh, maybe he's having a bad day and stuff like that. And it's like, the thing is like, you're just never going to win these arguments with these people. And they just love to argue. So it doesn't matter what you say. They're just going to keep attacking. So I think for me, it's just like, just taking all that stuff out of my life. And I've done actually a really good job of getting rid of a lot of baggage and things like that in my life. And I encourage you to do the same. Just have positive people in your life. It makes such a huge difference when there's just mostly positivity in your life and mostly positive people you're interacting with. Like, it's weird. You start being happy. It's like the weirdest thing. Who knew? So anyways, moving on. So if you watch my video on kindness, I talked about how, again, I'm trying to be more kind to people, but my weakness, again, this is something I'm trying to work on too, is just the dark humor, because I love a lot of dark humor and memes. And I try to think like, why am I laughing at this horrible meme or joke or whatever it is? Like, does that make me a bad person? And so I think I was tested with that troll scenario. And then I think I was tested again this week, because unless you've been living under a rock, there was an OceanGate submersible, I believe is the correct term. It's not a submarine, it's a submersible that went underwater, and it did not end well. So sadly, 5 people died. But at first, the news reported that they may still be alive and they have 3 days of air left and there's a rescue team and all this stuff. So as soon as the news story broke, like just almost immediately, I feel like hours later, there was all these memes going around, and it was really interesting to see people's responses. Some people thought they were hilarious, and some people thought it was so evil to make light of the situation. And one of the people that posted about it was Ricky Rocket, the drummer from Poison. If you're a Poison fan, awesome. If you're not, it's okay too, because you still may have an opinion on his statement. But he seems like a really cool dude. And on Wednesday, he said one day before they found it, I think he said, he went on Facebook and said, "My heart goes out to the people and families of the missing submarine. I have heard some really inhumane comments from people like play stupid games, get stupid prizes, and a-hole comments like that. Really? People being that judgmental and inhumanely pathetic blow my mind. Have you ever done something that was important to you but seemed stupid and a waste of money to others? I bet we all have. I seriously think the collective consciousness can help in dire situations. Can we please just offer decency at a time like this? Godspeed to everyone involved." So yeah, that was that was an interesting comment. I think that was well said in a way, but I agree with what he's saying for sure with what Ricky said. I think it's horrible when anybody dies, and I don't want to wish that misfortune on anyone. And I guess with the humor stuff, I think it just depends on the meme, because I saw a lot of the memes that were funny, but I don't think they seemed mean-spirited or trying to make light of the situation. It was just making light of things within the situation, but not making light like that people were going to die. It was more like, one of them was something like, "I'm white, but I'm not white enough to like go try to see the Titanic," or something like that. Like, and I felt like that was more like making fun of white people. So I thought that was okay to laugh at. And I think everyone handles grief differently. So here's my thing. Like, if you know that it's going to upset people, why share it on social media? Again, this goes back to the social media thing. Like, I shared some memes of the situation to people who I thought would appreciate it, like very close friends. And I knew they weren't going to get offended. And again, I don't think the ones I sent were that offensive, but like, why would you, some of them were, the memes that I saw on social media were really nasty. And it's like, why would you share that on social media when you know it's going to upset or offend like a lot of people? Like, you're almost like trying to piss people off. And whereas I think I'm separating the humor from the real life situation. For me, I was seeing some of the memes and I'm going, okay, this is funny, but I think some people were not. Like, some people were genuinely like happy that these people were going to die. And, they had a lot of hate and anger, and that just seemed really sick to me. So in that regard, I agree with Ricky Rocket's statement. And I think it makes me think, like, is social media, is it making people say these terrible things, or is social media just exposing the real hatred and anger from unhappy people? And I don't know. It makes you think. There's so many things that I really love about social media, like being able to connect with so many awesome people and just made so many great connections. Most of it's like really positive, but the negativity is just, it's really sad to me. And I don't know if it's an illusion, because of course these algorithms, they always pump up the evil shit and the big arguments and all that stuff. It gets pumped to the top of your news feed. Anything controversial, anything like that, they're going to, that's like, if I posted that video on kindness I think I did post it on Twitter. If I post something like that on Facebook, or, something like positive, like nobody sees it, or, I get like 2 likes or whatever. Usually, although I will say I posted the picture of me and a kitten, and I got a ton of likes. So there is a little bit of hope there, but you got to think, like, with the social media stuff, like, who's running these shows? And then, oh wait, okay. So that brings me to the next story. Again, such a strange week that it's been. But the CEOs of 2 of the biggest social media companies, Twitter and Facebook / Instagram, AKA Meta, are going to potentially fight. This is so bizarre. So Twitter owner and Tesla CEO Elon Musk recently tweeted that he would be up for a cage fight with Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta. And then in an Instagram story Wednesday, Zuckerberg fired back by posting a screenshot of Musk's tweet overlaid with the caption, "Send me location." I mean, this is so stupid to me. And because these are supposed to be the adults, right? I mean, I even tweeted how dumb I thought this was. I mean, I hope they're joking. I think they're joking, maybe, but because I think if this was a real fight, I think it would be super just cringe to watch these 2 nerds Although I guess I hear Zuckerberg trains a lot, and Musk is being offered to be trained by people. And so maybe it would be interesting, but what is the point? I guess these are two of the richest people in the country or the world or whatever, and they want to have a cage fight. Like, does the world really need this? I guess that's my question. Do we really need more violence and fighting, even if it's for sport? And even if they raise a little money for charity or whatever, is this really what two of the most successful people should be modeling to the world? Just seems so stupid to me. Like, here's a better idea. Like, why not have a competition to see who give away the most money for charity? Like, maybe you could have multiple charities and do like a silent auction where they each write down privately how much they're going to give. And then at the end, like maybe reveal the amount that each gave and see who gave the most. And the loser, like make the loser do something funny like the truffle shuffle or something silly like that. To me, that would actually be way more entertaining and inspiring to me, and fun and just interesting. I think it'd be something different. And here's an idea too. At the end of it, at the end of the competition, they hug. I mean, to me, that just seems like what we need in the world right now, like more helping each other, more positive things, more kindness, and more hugs. So maybe that's stupid. Maybe this video is going to get some thumbs down from people, but I felt like it needed to be said. So there you have it. And let me know what you think in the comments, or don't. It's late and I'm probably going to hit the hay. I don't see any live chat comments, but maybe it's because I'm using OBS and I can't find the comments on here. So I will check the comments if I can find them later. I'm guessing maybe nobody's awake right now, or maybe this isn't even hitting YouTube. I don't know if I did it right. So I'm still kind of new to the live stream stuff, so bear with me. But if you made it through this video, thank you for watching, and have a great night and do something nice for somebody today. I think that's going to be my goal for Sunday. So have a good one. Take care. I'm going to stop